Hey everybody. Some of you might know me as the Moon Woman, but maybe you don't know that I've written books on sacred union. And today I want to speak about what constitutes a sacred union because I think there's a lot of confusion. People see sacred union and they think, oh, it's just for couples, But state of sacred union is a state of being. It's when we have done enough inner work to integrate all of the opposite polarities within us, all of the different archetypal energies, so that we have a healthy foundation for creating relationships that heal rather than wound. Because all relationships are guaranteed to bring up our stuff, our unhealed childhood wounds, and our wounds also from our teenage years. So there's a lot of talk about inner child healing, but not so much about healing the inner teenager. And we have three levels that our relationship dynamics can play out at. And these are directed unconsciously by the three levels of feminine and masculine empowerment. So, without knowing these, we're entering into a minefield. So, it's understandable. A lot of people, as they get older, particularly in midwife, hide out from relationships. I've met, a number of people that say, "Oh, I'm going to be more of an ascetic, and not do relationship." And for me, you know, we can be in a devotional relationship with the divine, with existence, but we're here in a body, as sentient beings, and the more we have authentic soul connection, the happier we are. So, we need to look at the obstacle, what's in our way to having more soul fulfilling, healthy, intimate connections with people. So, one of the ways that people avoid intimacy is polyamory. It's like, oh, if I have lots of sort of surface interactions that fulfill one archetype here or one aspect here, rather than really understanding that through monogamy, we can find the trust and the safety to open up all those inner doors to the parts of us that feel most vulnerable. And sacred union is when we acknowledge that we are all divine. All parts of us are divine, including the parts that are maybe in shadow, are misunderstood, or not seen, not integrated, not embraced, not understood, not loved. And these are often the parts that we project onto others and judge harshly to avoid seeing them in ourselves. And this undermines trust and it creates tension and conflict in partnerships. So while sacred union is not limited to conscious relating in partnerships, sacred union is living in alignment with the natural cycles so that we can experience a state of communion with the Sky Father and with the Earth Mother, and all aspects of existence, from the animal kingdom to the stone kingdom to the planetary spheres. Um, all of these aspects are an opportunity for entering into a state of sacred union. And the more we understand this, we open up to experiencing ecstatic states of bliss, whether that's through devotional chanting or through yogic practices or through breath work or through sacred ceremony or art or self-pleasure. There's so many pathways. We don't need to take a substance, okay? We don't need something from outside of ourselves. Everything is within our temple, okay? Within our divine matrix, once we know how to access those keys. So I'm excited to be offering some Sacred Union live events for men and women, and these are for everyone, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. You know, it's really great if you're not in a relationship to utilize that time to debrief what you learnt from your previous partnerships and to create inner change, yeah, like doing an inner renovation to prepare so that the next relationship you enter is healthier in its patterns of relation and is more likely to be healing rather than wounding. If you're currently in a relationship, then it's an opportunity to invest in upskilling so that you're honoring the gift that your partner is in your life as your mirror, as your teacher, on the understanding that, of course, they're going to trigger your wounds. And we have the opportunity to either punish them and reject them and resent them or bow to them as the person who's willing to walk a path with us of mutual growth and healing, holding space for each other, not just for our strengths and our light, but also for the parts that are wounded. So, and if we don't do it with our current partner, then of course, you know, the opportunity is to do it with the next partner, but it's unavoidable. Every relationship, there's no perfect partner or perfect relationship. Any relationship is going to bring up your wounds. But the degree to which your current partner or a potential partner has to take that journey of intimacy into me see with you depends on their willingness to show up and, look at their shadow, look at the parts in them that are afraid of intimacy, afraid of being seen, afraid of being rejected or punished. So, um, to create a sacred union with another person, we need to have an understanding of how to create that within. And the first sacred union book I wrote back in 2011, which is just called Sacred Union Awakening to the Consciousness of Eden. This was volume one in a three-part series. And this book, which is available both as an ebook or in paperback, is about how to create the inner marriage, how to create a balance of light and shadow, feminine, masculine, and spirit and matter. And that is like an orb, okay? Otherwise, we're like half a person feeling that we're incomplete, looking for our other half to complete us. Whereas when we do that work of finding, if you're male, the bride within, which was part of the ancient Grail mysteries, or for a woman, finding the inner knight that will rescue you, so you're not playing out, somebody like a femme fatale saying, "Come and rescue me." So when we are seeking wholeness, then we're ready for the mandala or the grail relationship of two beings that are whole unto themselves, a priest or a priestess, because that's what the word priest, priestess used to mean, unto oneself. So seeking to become whole, healed, holy within oneself, sovereign, a king or a queen, not a knight or a princess looking to be saved by the other and then persecuting and punishing them when they're not the perfect person that you'd projected onto them. So a king or queen is someone who's taken that descent down to meet the parts of them that are not healed and integrated. And then volume two, the Sacred Union book that I wrote next, which came out in 2013, which is Creating Sacred Union in Partnerships, provides information on how to discern who is ready for a conscious partnership. And there's even a template for a conscious courtship, the 7 dates at the 7 gates. So 7 dates connecting from the crown all the way down to the base, because the old paradigm relationships where we meet someone who we're physically attracted to and then try to get connection on all levels often means that we're so bonded to that person sexually that if they're not meeting us emotionally, mentally, in our feelings, able to journey consciously a path of healing together, wisdom together, and ecstasy together, then we often settle. You know, we settle for crumbs. It's like, oh, well, the sex is good, or, you know, they're a good companion, you know, or mentally we're on the same page, even though the sex isn't good, or I can't have conversations with them about, you know, mysticism and things that, you know, really rock my world. And when we settle, um, you know, we're basically saying that I can't have my needs met. Yeah, that I don't believe that there's someone out there that can actually meet me at all seven gates, i.e., the soul is multifaceted, someone who I can have a truly soul fulfilling union with. So we have to risk aloneness, we have to risk being on our own and finding union with the all oneness in order to be ready to meet the beloved, somebody who has taken that journey of seeking all oneness within themselves, within the divine, through meeting the different aspects of themselves. If we're to be met by our beloved, somebody that is our divine complement. And this is different from a soulmate, it's different from a twin flame, and I've got a video where I speak about that. I can put the link to that in the description for this video if you want to know more about that. I also speak about that in my Sacred Union books. I also have on my website a video masterclass, The Art of Sacred Union, where I break down the difference between the codependent sort of relationship that many of us grew up witnessing and then internalized, and a sacred union. And I've also got a program I created in 2019 called Conscious Relating. And this is born out of Sacred Union seminars that I developed and took around the world in 2019. And this is what I'm now offering again. And I'm very excited to offer again. And in these live events, I map how our relationships are like a game of snakes and ladders. Yeah? When we're triggered, which is inevitable, we have a moment of crisis where we can either step up the ladder or unconsciously slide down the snake. Okay? And the way that we can maximize those moments, you know, the word crisis means both danger and opportunity. To maximize the opportunity, we need the insight and the tools to know how to step up so that we don't unconsciously slide down into the worst version of ourselves and injure our trust and our intimacy with our opposite by coming from wound, and when we feel hurt, lashing out unconsciously and hurting the other. So these workshops, these seminars, I map the three levels of relating and what that looks like when we're triggered, and how that's informed by the three expressions of feminine and masculine, i.e., unconscious feminine, unconscious masculine, semi-conscious feminine, semi-conscious masculine, and conscious feminine, conscious masculine, which we all do. In fact, we can do all three levels in one day, depending on our energy levels, depending on our hormones, depending on what's up for us, planetary transits. So it's important that rather than thinking, oh, yes, you know, I don't need a relationship, I'm conscious because I live alone with my cat. You know, if you're not in the crucible of relationship, you know, you're not going to be triggered as easily. But if you want to be truly available to the opportunity of intimacy, which will expedite, it will accelerate your ability to fulfill your human potential, okay? More than anything, in fact, but only if we put in the work. So, if you want to find out more about my events, what they include is the mating dance. So, how to have a snapshot of your current state of balance or imbalance. Yeah, which gender polarity is dominant and how that's impacting the people that you're attracted to, and the mating dance, what your role is in that mating dance and how that impacts the dynamics of the relationships that you're likely to attract, as well as those three stages of masculine and feminine empowerment, how each stage impacts our level of relating, strategies to transcend power struggles, how to transform tension when we're triggered and de escalate, and how to make the most of those moments so that we transform tension into greater trust and intimacy. And finally, how to attract and create relationships that heal rather than wound. There's no nudity involved, there's no sexual practices involved. This is about understanding the shadow dance of relating that sabotages our happiness and our love. So, yeah, if you're ready for a fun day, laughing at our humanness and embracing all parts of ourselves as whole and healed and worthy of love, then click the link and find out about the events that I've got coming up. And thanks so much for watching, and feel free to share this with anyone who might be interested. Ciao for now.